Game developers have been melting down on social media ever since Gamergate 2 started, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. But now we have a former Blizzard developer bragging about her new game featuring no white male characters. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, I actually retweeted this. I wanted my thoughts to be part of the conversation, but it says this post is unavailable. She decided to delete her tweets thinking that all of the backlash surrounding her would stop, but luckily, the internet never forgets. Now, her name is Irina Pereira. She is the CEO of Unleashing Games and a game developer for 25 years. She's worked at Blizzard, 38 Studios, Warner Brothers, and Scopely. So she definitely knows the state of the industry. She definitely can see all of the backlash surrounding developers right now, especially ones who are very focused on DEI. But she is the CEO of Unleashed Games. I've never heard of them before this. Now I know their existence, but their description is making games that bring people together, which is really interesting, given that its CEO has been bragging about her racism. Now, yes, she did delete the tweets, but the internet doesn't forget. Savvy Artist reposted them, saying it would appear she deleted her tweets. I wonder why. And these were the posts that she made. She was getting absolutely ratio 22 likes to 285 comments and 114 retweets. Just wait until they notice that none of our starting characters in our alpha build are white males. None out of 6. Now, you would think a CEO of a company who wants to promote diversity and inclusivity and equality would be happy to put at least one white male character in their starter or alpha build, because of course, let's be honest, look at the majority of gamers. Amongst gamers, the most common ethnicity is white, constituting roughly 78.2% of all gamers. I mean, you would think that she would want to have that be reflected within her product, but that's just not the case. I mean, bragging about your racism just isn't a good look. Imagine if someone replaced white with black in that sentence. It would just be awful. I mean, this is not an okay thing to post on social media, and it's not an okay thing to implement within your game. She says, have at it. Again, I say, representation matters. Clearly it doesn't to you, or else you would be representing a large demographic of gamers. And I don't know how many games have lacked female characters or created gameplay penalties for being a female character. I personally have never played a video game where there is a penalty for being a female character, because even in games that have like weight systems where your character's weight matters, typically the females are lighter than the males, so you're not dealing with weight problems as much. Even if you max out the sliders, the male maxed out is larger than the female maxed out, so that's a penalty on the male characters. It's the complete opposite, but I haven't played a game where there's a penalty for being a female character just for having boobs in a video game. She also said, representation matters. Inclusivity is not the same as racism. Enjoy hating on me for today. I'll go back to making games. Well, clearly you're making games for a small group of people, judging that you only have 500 followers. And I usually don't like to say that. I usually don't like to, call out follower counts, because follower counts are just a small number across many platforms. But at the same time, you're trying to build a studio based off of inclusivity, and you are excluding a major group of people. That's just not the way that the world works. And of course, she deleted this, right? Because people were calling her out, calling her racist, because that's what these posts are. They are not inclusive by any means whatsoever. And, of course, she is getting absolutely destroyed by people on social media. Mark Kern had actually screenshotted it and tweeted it saying, why did she delete this thread, right? Like, if you're feeling extremely confident in what you're saying, just leave it, because you've already posted it. You're already going to take backlash for it. People are not going to magically forget. This is the internet that we are talking about. Everything is screenshotted, everything is archived, and now whenever her name pops up, we're going to remember this thread. Sometimes you should probably rethink what you're posting on social media. Savvy had actually said the consequences of her actions went to the studio and game Twitter to post her tweets on it. Confused, if she was so proud of that fact, why does it matter people went to post her tweet on the game's Twitter? Wouldn't that be free advertisement for her? This is also something surrounding like the Sweet Baby Ink detected list that's hilarious. These people are tweeting things and doing things in their games that people dislike, and even though we dislike them, they're clearly trying to make them for a different audience, which isn't us, and I haven't really seen that audience show up to support these types of games. Look at like the Saints Row reboot, look at Forspoken, look at this. Clearly the audiences are not there, but regardless, she's trying to make it for a different audience, and if she thinks that is going to bring her audience in, blatant racism, then why not just leave the post? You should view that as advertising, because according to a lot of people, all press is good press, even negative press. That's the way a lot of companies work, so why isn't she also working that same way? It's quite interesting to see what she's done and how she's decided to handle this situation. Someone said because she got questions she didn't want to answer, especially as people were calling her out on her nonsense. As soon as you start calling these people out, they melt down. They delete their tweets, they private their accounts, they protect them, they try to make statements saying, oh, everyone was just misrepresenting me. And then, of course, they go to the, oh, everyone's a sexist. And I wouldn't be surprised if she actually decided to make a post saying, oh, everybody criticizing me was racist, when that just definitely is not the case. We also have Learning the Law, our manga lawyer, saying video game CEOs are saying the part out loud. Notice she didn't say white females. This is not funny anymore, man. It's actually quite concerning, and I completely agree. When you have people who have been in the industry for decades, okay, and they have been affecting games, and they are still making games, you want them to not say things like this, right? Because her game might have been fantastic. I mean, her game might have been really good, but now there is no chance that a large group of people are going to touch it because they do not want to support her. It is extremely concerning that these people are willing to just spew their nonsense on social media, that they are willing to spew their complete and utter racism. Of course, she has not made any more tweets since this. She has actually scrubbed the past couple of days from her Twitter account, which is pretty interesting given, again, if she was proud of what she was saying, she should be leaving it. And I will be keeping my eye on this because I feel like she's going to make a follow-up post. She just strikes me as the type of person to make a follow-up post saying how she was attacked and how people are awful and how the industry needs to change, using this as an example as to why people in the industry are so toxic, even though she's the one who started it. She's the one who made the tweet, but I will be keeping my eye on it. But of course, this former Blizzard developer was completely bragging about how her new game features no white males, thought it would go down smoothly, and it epically backfired. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.